I've only been on one cruise in my life, and it was on the Carnival Paradise, which docks in Tampa, which is the only reason I ever been on a cruise because it's only about a half hour from where I live. But it was back in 2015, and it was a 5-day cruise, and I went to Cozumel and went to Tulum while we were in Cozumel for like the one day that we were there. And then we went to the Cayman Islands and then back home. But I'd say one thing that freaked me out the most about being on a cruise wasn't the fact that we had no land in sight in any direction, just nothing but the sky above and the cold water underneath us. But that didn't really phase me. But what did was the water heights. And even though I'm a strong swimmer and I was on the swim team and I was in the swim club growing up, my dad and my uncles, they still had unbroken swim records on the school board when I went through high school. All of that said, I've always had a massive fear of deep water. I mean, not just 20 feet deep or 50 feet. I'm talking about the black deep, like looking down and seeing absolutely nothing below you. That just scares me to death. Hell no, fuck that. But the main welcome channel on the TV in our stateroom on the Carnival cruise, it had the ocean depth in the bottom corner of the screen. And once we were in the Caribbean area and out of the Gulf of Mexico, that thing was reading insane numbers like 15,000 feet, 20,000 feet. I about shit myself when I woke up that morning and noticed how deep that was because when I went to sleep the night before, it was, I don't know, it was like 800 feet, 900 feet, something like that. And then the next morning, it was like 15,000 something feet. I was like, oh, fucking shit. Scared me to death, man. I swear. Anyway, so if I thought about, if I even thought to think to look up the ocean depth in that area, like going through ocean depth charts or some shit, looking on the internet before I went on that cruise, I probably would have just said hell no from the get go. But there wasn't much I can do about it in the moment. But that was just crazy knowing how deep the water was just below us, looking out the window and just knowing that there's just miles of water straight down. Just absolutely crazy. But anyway, fortunately, there were no catastrophes during my time on the ship that I was aware of, and I was in good health throughout the trip, with the exception of seasickness on the last day. But would I go again? Probably not. I mean, it just really wasn't my thing, but some people, they enjoy the hell out of it. I mean, but that definitely can't be said for a couple living in Cleveland who went through tragedy while on a Carnival cruise. His wife had a medical emergency, and the only way off the cruise ship was through some real sketchy options, like involving thousands of dollars in cash. And they would only take cash to transport her off the ship because, you know, everybody, they totally cruise with over 10 grand in cash. But after seeing this, there is no fucking way that I'm going on a cruise ever again. I mean, maybe if it's free, but that's a huge maybe. And that's only if I get one hell of a clean bill of health first. But anyway, here's the story. It's from News 5 Cleveland.
Yeah, Mohammed Hamza and his wife Julia each year would remember a special day in their lives. So this year, they went on a cruise to celebrate that. But unfortunately, Julia fell ill. And Mohammed says the surprises just kept on coming as he tried to get her some help.
This is the picture where I first met her, this one here.
For Mohammed Hamza, their photos,
This is our marriage picture.
their room,
This is the way she left it.
their memories
It's very painful, yeah.
are what remain after 46 years of marriage.
I don't believe she's gone.
Muhammad and Julia were celebrating January 9th, the day when they met so many years ago. They took a recent Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas. It was Julia's first cruise, but by the second day, Muhammad says Julia felt nauseous, dizzy. She even fell to the floor.
Okay, so correction to myself. I think I said they went on a Carnival cruise. I just had Carnival in my head, but no, they went on a Royal Caribbean
He
cruise.
tells us it was her first ever heart attack.
The doctor immediately said she's
Her
going
first
to have
ever.
another episode of cardiac arrest.
Talk about
She
bad
need to be
timing, man.
transported now.
It's horrible.
Muhammad says that's when he was asked for $15,000 in cash.
In cash.
To help Julia.
Fucking
I said, I'm
cash.
here 3 days. How anybody on this cruise have $15,000 in cash?
Fucking nobody.
The jets only take cash.
Dude, would they fucking even let you even take cash when you're going through security? They're taking out like bricks of 20s and 50s or some shit, and they're like, what the fuck do you need all this cash for? Well, just in case, God forbid, I have a heart attack on your stupid ass cruise line because y'all insist that I have 15 grand in cash if I end up having a heart attack. I mean, what the fuck?
He tells us it took 2 hours, but eventually he was able to pay with a credit card, all while time was of the essence.
Now, where is the
Probably a
jet?
debit card.
Coming in half an hour, coming in 2 hours, coming in 3 hours. They have some delay.
While waiting for a smaller
Wow,
boat to take
man.
her to the jet, Muhammad says Julia had a second heart attack.
Shouldn't I say something? Shouldn't I told her squeeze my hand. She squeezed my hand.
He says hours went by.
I mean, how do you prevent that though? I mean, can you prolong a heart attack by I mean, not holding your breath, but like maybe slowing down your breathing or something, or like hanging upside down, or like, is there anything that you can possibly do to try to put off your heart attack getting worse for any period of time? I mean, I think that's something worth looking up. I don't know.
Then finally,
Probably
she was on a
not,
transport boat.
but
Suddenly, though, a third heart attack ended her life right there on the boat.
To the last minute, I have this feeling she's coming back.
I thought, oh no, here's another one.
That was Jamie Barnett's reaction after hearing Muhammad's story. She's the president of the group called International Cruise Victims. She tells us all major cruise lines sail under different countries' flags. American ways
affirmative.
of doing things may not
Yes,
be
they do.
followed, and even some laws don't apply more than 12 miles from the U.S. shore.
And that's
Yep.
one of the first and foremost things I think I wish people knew.
And she says medically, you're at the will of
which
those.
I think that's crazy because I want to say Carnival Cruise, isn't it the Bahamas or something like that? Like there's a country they technically, you know, I don't know what to put it at, like hold their allegiance to or some shit or whatever. But the cruise that I went on, they're docked primarily in Tampa. Like that's their primary dock. They always leave from Tampa, and at the end of the cruise, they dock in Tampa. So how the hell do they have the ability to claim to be from some other country outside of the U.S. when their ship is primarily docked here? That doesn't make any sense to me at all, but somehow they're able to get away with that shit.
who are taking care of you or a loved one.
Just to avoid
As she
our
found
strict
out personally,
laws that protect
her
people, I
daughter
suppose.
needed help on a cruise in 2005. Jamie says medical staff called for a defibrillator, but it took 30 minutes to get there. She tells us she spoke with a paramedic on the ship.
He said, you know, Jamie,
I mean,
she
that's
was
ridiculous.
absolutely
Those things should be
viable when
everywhere.
I got to her. And by the time they did, she wasn't. She was gone.
Jamie says their victims group has been fighting for years now for better medical equipment and procedures on cruises.
Typically, that medical center is not run by the cruise ship, it's run third party. So we're following their
Oh,
policy.
of course they are.
Bill Coyle from KHM Travel Group, that was not involved in the Hams's vacation, says agents will tell you when an injury or medical issue happens on a cruise, get a copy of the incident report that tells everything that happened.
Whatever the case is, we need documentation of all that. That's the first thing that has to be done.
He says before you travel, make sure you're healthy enough for the trip. Bring any documents about your medications and medical past. Be prepared for the
Yeah,
unexpected.
I mean that should go without saying that if you're in a risky state of health, you obviously should not be going out into the middle of the ocean. But I don't think it's really too much to ask for these giant ass cruise ships that have 5,000-6,000 people. I mean, statistically, somebody's going to have something go wrong with them. If you're talking thousands of people on one cruise ship over the course of a week, 5,000-6,000 people. I mean, like, what are the odds of somebody having a heart attack within a week? Or if you take 5,000 people or 6,000 people, what are the odds of any of those 6,000 people having a heart attack within a week? It's got to be higher than 1 in 6,000, certainly. I mean, statistically, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 that may have a heart attack. So I don't think it's too much to ask to have not only a clinic, but more or less a not full stocked pharmacy, but to have enough medication to take care of pretty much any ailment that you could really think of, more or less, like maybe like a hospital pharmacy, but not stocked like one, not having enough pills of all different types of pills to hand out to like 1,000 people. I'm not talking about that amount, just having the variety, not the quantity, but also having just the ability to prolong something like a heart attack or maybe even a stroke or something like that. But I get it, like in some circumstances when it's bad enough, especially a stroke, you know, surgery may have to be they just have to surgically intervene, which I'm sure you're not going to be able to do on a cruise ship, not without a full-on surgical team. So, I mean, I get they're not going to be able to address any and all medical issues possible, but I'd be curious to see what their medical areas look like on these cruise ships. And I mean, is it equivalent to the nurse's office in an elementary school, or do they actually have like some legit medical services that they could really provide? I mean, there really should be a minimum amount of people on a cruise ship. Let's say 1,000 people or more. Then they should have a whole nother level of medical services that they could provide. Because when you're talking that amount of people, I mean, statistically, something's going to go wrong with somebody.
Expected, and that serious issues can be pricey. He suggests travel insurance.
Is the emergency evacuation $25,000 or $100,000? Did I buy a policy that's truly going to cover me? And don't forget, most of our policies are based on age. So the older we are, the more that coverage costs.
Royal Caribbean would not go on camera and answer questions, but sent us a statement saying, in part, the medical team responded quickly, worked continuously to stabilize Julia's condition in preparation for her transport. Our thoughts continue to be with Mr. Hamza during this difficult time. For Muhammad, he says the most valuable commodity that day wasn't money. It was time for his wife.
Why this woman cannot be transported immediately? There is no helicopter, there is no Coast Guard or somebody to come to save her.
Time that ran out, even though Muhammad had been holding on to hope.
I know she's gonna go to Florida. I know she's gonna recover, come back home with me.
Muhammad
That's a
tells
tough
us
story.
after News 5 investigators reached out to Royal Caribbean for answers, he finally started
And
getting
this was just
some
yesterday.
information
He just
about what
posted this
happened
yesterday.
and medical records, but he's still exploring his legal options at this point based on his experience. You can read Royal Caribbean's full statement on our News 5 app.
I mean, unfortunately, I don't really know if there's really a whole lot that they can do, but I mean, maybe he can go after them. So the Carnival Cruise's full statement, I actually already found that. They actually have the article, and I'll put it in the description. But you'd think it was like a full letter, but it's really not. It's just a very short statement down here at the very, very bottom. The full statement from Royal Caribbean Group spokesperson. The safety and well-being of our guests is always a top priority. In Mrs. Hamza's situation, the shipboard medical team responded quickly to her medical needs. It worked continuously to stabilize her condition in preparation for her transport to a shoreside hospital. Our thoughts continue to be with Mr. Hamza during this difficult time. So very generic, very copy-paste, very expected of a statement. You know, they didn't go into any details with anything really. All right, with the magic of the pause button, I did come across a video, Royal Caribbean Shipboard Medical Facilities. It is an older video. It's 13 years old, but this is on the Royal Caribbean, and it shows the medical facility on board. But first, I'll show, out of 6,000 people on a cruise, what are the odds of one person suffering a heart attack in 1 week? The short answer, it breaks down to about 39.3% chance that one passenger out of 6,000 will suffer a heart attack. So it's not as often as I thought it would have been. But that's just one medical issue. That's just a heart attack. That doesn't include, a million other things that could go wrong with somebody, depending on what medical condition they're in, like diabetes or a whole bunch of other things. But I did also see on Google roughly 3,000 passengers. That's about the average cruise ship number capacity for cruise ships. When you average them all out, on average, it's about 3,000 passengers. So I went back and I asked about 3,000. So it's about 22.1% chance that somebody would suffer a heart attack on a week-long cruise ship if there's 3,000 people on board. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first. But anyway, yeah, here, let's check this out. Let's see what the medical facilities look like on a cruise ship. I mean, that actually they got more shit than I thought they'd have, to be honest. Man, it looked like a legit hospital room. Oh, they're top-notch. Not top-notch enough to deal with heart attacks, though.
And the cruise industry have developed standards that really set the bar. They are the gold standard, really, for the equipment and the qualifications of the staff that are needed on a ship, in our opinion. And at Royal Caribbean International, we meet and exceed all those minimum recommendations from the American College of Emergency Physicians.
All right.
First of all, we have all the
what he
equipment that
says.
we need for cardiac cases. That's very important in this setting. We have the defibrillators. We have
See, he's like, we got all this fancy shit for cardiac situations, cardiac cases. So, I mean, I know there's some instances with some massive heart attacks that might be beyond their expertise or their abilities, which apparently that's what she had. Well, of course, according to them, that she had 3 different heart attacks back to back. So maybe there really wasn't anything that they could do. But I just kind of wonder if their medical facility was this elaborate on their cruise ship.
that we can use, electrocardiograms. We also have respirators.
We have digital x-ray on board, so we can take the x-rays and transmit them shoreside to specialist consultants anywhere in the world. We have a teledermatology program on board now where we can take digital photographs of unusual skin rashes or skin problems and send them to the University of Miami and get
Like
a consult
sunburn.
turnaround within 24 hours.
We can do quite a bit of bedside testing, electrolytes, and we can do, of course, blood sugar and various
The
other
basics.
things. But we can also do enzyme work that will make the diagnosis of myocardial infarction much more accurate than only using the electrocardiogram.
We have just completed redoing our entire formulary. We maintain a wide variety of drugs. on
There you
board
go.
for
That's what I'm
emergency
talking about.
situations, including
So they do have that
thrombolytics,
stuff.
clot busters for heart attacks, a variety of other medication.
Generally speaking, on the Royal Caribbean International ships, you'll find 2 physicians and 3 nurses. On some of the larger ships, such as the Oasis and the Allure of the Seas, we have 3 physicians and 5 nurses.
Our medical staff are all required to have a minimum of 3 years of postgraduate training, equivalent of a residency program wherever they're from.
We focus a great deal of time and effort.
Well, that should
into
be
training
standard
our
in any
staff
medical
because
field.
In the medical field, you need to be constantly training your staff and updating them on the latest techniques and procedures.
We manage more crew and more medical facilities on board ships than any other company in the world. That gives us a lot of flexibility and a lot of ability to deliver, I think, very high quality services to both our guests and our crew.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously that's not going to save literally everyone, unfortunately. But I mean, I just figured I would just show that just to kind of be fair on both sides, kind of show both sides of it. I mean, they've got a medical facility. According to them, they've got 2 doctors on board. So, I mean, that's probably how they determined that she was having a heart attack in the first place, because they had enough equipment to make that determination. But anyway, yeah, real sad story, man. But I'll link all that in the description if you want to check it out. But anyway, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you later.